Welcome back. Chad Range alongside Jesse Finney on 101sports.com. This is the Hit Squad, and you can follow us on Twitter. We're at Hit Squad 101 ESPN. We want to know what you're thinking, what fights you'd like to see, where you're watching the fights.
Right, I'm glad you said that.
Absolutely.
You know what? Tell us where you're watching the fights out there. If you're buying pay-per-view in your restaurant bars and you want to become a sponsor, you can have your name right here. You know, you gotta pay to play. But we'll mention you the whole time.
Absolutely, and nothing beats going out to a restaurant, sports bar, watching the
casino. You go to the casino, you can watch the fights for free. You go to Lumiere. Lumiere Casino holds the fights for free all the time. And you know what? At the same time, you get a chance to hang out with a bunch of mixed martial arts fans here in St. Louis.
Something I did want to talk about. Didn't get to it in the last segment because of time restraints, but we're going to get to it now. I just found out, and I'm not diehard, but I'm in tune with the mixed martial arts community. New York, it's not allowed in New York. Mixed martial arts is not allowed in New York.
They have enough tax dollars, right?
Madison Square Garden. Think of the heavyweight championships that have happened there. Think of the great fights. MMA is not allowed. So we're lucky here in the state of Missouri to be able to go see Shamrock Fighting Championships, Pro MMA, at a casino, wherever. You've had them all over. We are lucky to have those. They are still all over. And it's not easy to get those fights sanctioned, obviously.
Each state is different. Each state is different. That's what a lot of people don't understand is each state is different, just like your speeding limits are different in each state. Each state you go to, you have to re-register. If they allow mixed martial arts, you have to get different HIV tests. You have to have an HIV, hepatitis B and C. Some you have to have a CAT scan. Some you have to have neurology. I mean, there's all types of different tests you have to take each different state. Each state is different. New York doesn't allow it. So New York does not allow professional mixed martial arts. So I tell you what, it's a subject that we can get into in the next.
A little more in depth.
Yes, it really is. It is extremely in depth of what's going on up there. There's a lot of unions that they're fighting to get the unions in, unions out. It's a culinary union. There's all kinds of stuff. And the UFC is the first ones that spent millions of dollars to try to make this happen. What's Dana White say? Hey, man, you know what? I won't forget this. You know what? You don't want our tax dollars? You know what? We're not coming.
They hold a grudge. We've discussed that in a prior segment. They do hold a grudge. Be careful out there. Absolutely. Hit Squad at 101sports.com is our email. At Hit Squad 101 ESPN is our Twitter. Forrest Griffin, he has retired, and we have talked about this. There's not in place for any UFC veterans. There's no retirement program. There is no, once you're done, you're done. But now you can kind of see the UFC giving back.
Absolutely giving back. I mean, if you look what they're doing for Matt
Hughes.
Hughes, look what they're doing for Chuck Liddell. There's a lot of guys, and what also they're doing for the guys that are not paining the butts, for say. Tito Ortiz is working for himself. He's
because he was a problem child,
right?
A little bit.
Child. So you know what?
Interesting.
You get out and you represent the UFC brand, and you do well with them. They're going to take care of you in the end. And now they're going to take care of Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner.
Now, Griffin gained fame in the first season of The Ultimate Fighter. That'll let you know kind of Sella is on that level. A guy from St. Louis. I mean, we're making a name. And, of course, he finished with a spectacular victory over Stephan Bonner, as you talked about. And that happened in April 2005, a fight widely considered the most important in UFC history. Now, that is tough to say. When I read that, I was like,
how do you argue that?
Well, it's on a reality television. I would actually think that
But it's reality television that people like yourself and the normal public. Everybody started to wow, this is it. And I actually remember being in the gym because I own a couple MMA gyms. After that happened, our business went like this, because everybody started to become it wasn't just barbaric, and it wasn't,
So that was in 2005,
right?
See, now, I would almost say the first UFC where Royce Gracie was taking on, like I said, it was a free-for-all. But, I mean, I really started to see people get into it because they're like, here's this little 100. I mean, and that was like, I've joked it was like Glass Joe taking on Bald Bull because it was just basically like there are no weight classes. Just go out there and poke them in the eyes or kick them in the family jewels and go fight. And, here's Royce Gracie doing these crazy jiu-jitsu things that seem to be so, well, that's weird.
Yeah, but you understand something. That was you going, man, this is kind of crazy.
Right.
Crazy. Now what people don't understand with mixed martial arts, it's a sport.
Yep. It's
a sport. B, you can do it to get in shape. That's what a lot of people are like, oh, well, I'm just going to go and be a fighter. Man, I own 2 gyms here, and 95% of our people are not fighters. They do it to get in shape and to lose weight. That's whenever you start to see like the numbers go up. Now, you did see a bunch of boneheads that were, smoking and drinking in the bar, and then all of a sudden they're going to become a fighter the next day.
They have that.
They come and gone. So I mean, it's about attitude, discipline, and respect for mixed martial arts, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. If you don't have the correct attitude, you don't have the right discipline, and you have no respect, man, see ya. It's not going to work for mixed martial arts. And I think that a lot of times, I'm going off subject here, but because this is a very passionate part of my thinking, is they always say like, the UFC created this, the tough show, and they've done a great job.
Yeah.
And they've done a great job. I think that they've actually steered away from what they were doing in the beginning, was getting the ratings and getting these idiots that were in the tough house. Now all of a sudden they're creating these kids that are actually
fighters,
and they're superstars.
It's not about drama.
It's not about drama. And if you watch the last season, it wasn't about drama. It was about these kids. Every one of those kids got to fight in the UFC afterwards because they were good fighters. It's good quality fighters. It's not the guys that are doing things to get attention on the show anymore. It used to be that way. Now it's not. And I think that the UFC created kind of the wrong way at the beginning. I really do, where they kind of gave themselves a black eye in a sport because they had all the power to do whatever they wanted to do. And I think they went about it in the wrong way. And now
they're correcting it.
And now they're starting to correct it and starting to create these, better kids.
That's a good. I was going to talk about something, but I'm going to skip forward because you have a great point here. The Diaz brothers, are they good for mixed martial arts and the UFC?
They are, because you know what? You either love them or you hate them.
You talk about them.
And we're talking about them right now. And you know what? They're also the same type of guys that you aren't going to watch them. You're going to say, oh, man, I
want to see him get beat or I want to see him win.
You either want to see him get beat or you want to see him lose. You're never going to see Nick Diaz get the brakes beat off of him. Nate, not so much.
Yeah, Nate will get beat.
Yeah, and we got knocked out by a head kick by Josh Thompson.
That's right.
Who could be one of the top 5 155ers out there, too, by the way. Josh Thompson.
That's a loaded division. I mean, we're talking about the heavyweight. 155 is just as good.
So your question here is,
you think they're good? But they do stupid things.
I do think that they are good for the sport. I really do, because it also gives some other
Diaz is supposedly starting his own gym, own promotion.
You're going to call it war. I mean, those are things like, I'm a Nick Diaz fan, and it's just some of the things he does, I'm like, oh, man, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Right,
Stop while you're ahead.
He loves to smoke pot. I believe that's what he said was one of his training things. He doesn't pay his taxes. He said that after one of his fights. And
hey, listen, but you know what? At the same time, if he can get away with it, anybody can give him a shot. So you never
Right. But the thing about Nick and Nate isn't there where Nick is.
No.
But I don't think Nick is GSP Silva yet. He's better than most, but he's not quite there. And this is where I was heading with this. And we were talking about this. Great fights you'd like to see. And we've touched on this, and now you were real excited about Mayweather and Pacquiao. Someone brought that up to you. We were out playing softball. Chris Duncan, you have an open invitation to come play with us anytime. He's got a spot on the team, but you were real excited about Pacquiao. What would you rather see? You asked me, Pacquiao, Mayweather, or Jones and Silva.
Right. And I have this... I still have a passion for boxing.
Absolutely.
I still have a passion for boxing, and still, at the end of the day, I would say that I would actually rather see Pacquiao and Mayweather. And the reason I say this is because it's something different right now. Now, if it's Anderson Silva and John Jones,
I mean, that's a tough call.
I will actually have to go with Anderson Silva. I will say that. And John Jones. Now, if you ask me the heavyweight division, would I rather see Junior Dos Santos and
Cain Velasquez go against Pacquiao? Now, I give you that.
Pacquiao, Mayweather, no matter what.
And here's the thing. You're just talking about that one fight. The thing about it is the UFC is at such an advantage, they're going to have a card stacked full of good fights.
And I agree, and I've said this a million times. That's one thing about mixed martial arts. You got boxing. When you're going to watch mixed martial arts, you can watch them on, in UFC. You can watch them on Facebook. You can watch the I think it's like the first 2 or 3 on Facebook for free. Then you can go to FX or you go to Fuel and watch those 6 or 7 for free. And here's the thing. Every one of those fights can be a good fight.
Yeah, you're gonna see
boxing, they're going to suck, except for the main event.
Pacquiao and Mayweather.
I would still buy it. So, but it's like, I say this is what's hurt boxing for so long. If you can watch a boxing card, and you can probably pick 6 out of the 8 fights, and you are guaranteed you know who's going to win.
Who's going to win that?
So you know what? Until they get some a little bit of.
Well, do you think that just comes with competition? They just need more competition
but
in
see,
there.
the thing is, it's all about the records for those guys, man. So it's kind of like, and if they lose, their career's over. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand about mixed martial arts. With mixed martial arts, you can go out and make $20,000 to show up, $20,000 to win. So they all fight for that win money. You know, in boxing, you just get standard, okay, here's your $100,000, and this is all you're getting. So win, lose, or draw, they're still getting their $100,000. So if they said, okay, you know what, you're going to get 50, you're going to get 50, and then the winner gets the 50. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's like, then there's a win bonus. In boxing, they have to change that structure. And I think that if they do that with boxing, I think that one thing
would change a lot.
That one thing will make a huge change.
That's interesting. Yeah, Pacquiao, Mayweather. Of course, Mayweather, he's still undefeated, still looking good, and still getting paid. So.
I can't stand the guy, but that's okay.
But we will be talking about other fighters. The upcoming fights will be discussed and making our predictions coming up next on 101sports.com.